All right, let's get right into it. Today we're talking about some major news that's sending ripples through the 3x3 basketball scene in Spain. The Spanish Basketball Federation, the FEB, has just dropped a bombshell, a brand new national league. And believe me, it's getting people talking. So we're going to break down what this league is, why it's such a big deal, and some of the controversies that are already popping up. So here's the headline, plain and simple. We're getting a new, official 3x3 Winter League, and it's kicking off this November. The Federation is making a huge play here, trying to build a serious, high-level competition during what's usually a quieter time for basketball. But you know, it's never just about the big announcement, right? We need to peel back the layers. We're going to dig into the rules that you might not spot at first glance, the real costs that teams are facing, and the big questions that the community is already asking. Let's start with the biggest hook, the one thing that could make this whole league a massive game changer for 3x3 in Spain. It is all about the grand prize. Now look, there's definitely prize money up for grabs at each tournament stop, and we'll get to those numbers in a minute. But that's not the real headline here. The most important prize isn't the cash you can win on a weekend. Nope, this is the real prize, and this is a direct quote from the official documents. The overall league champion gets a golden ticket. We're talking a spot in a FIBA Challenger for the men's champs and a spot in a women's series for the women's. So why does that matter so much? Because these events are the big leagues. This is the International Pro Circuit. It's where the best teams in the world go to fight for World Tour points, serious money, and global recognition. For the very first time, a Spanish team has a clear path to get to that stage, based purely on how they perform at home. This is huge. Okay, so the prize is incredible. But how does a team actually get a shot at it? Well, that all comes down to the rules of the game. The nitty-gritty stuff that every single team manager has to get right. The league has this really fascinating two-level roster system. First, you register a main season roster of up to 8 players. And get this, that list is locked in for the entire winter. Then, for each tournament weekend, the manager has to pick a squad of just 4 players from that bigger pool. It's a real strategic puzzle. It gives you some flexibility for injuries, sure, but it also means you better have your whole season planned out from day one. Now, you can't just show up and play. Each tournament is capped at only 12 teams. The majority of those spots, about 6 to 8, are called preferential spots. These go to the teams who commit and pay for the entire 6-stop season up front. The leftover spots, maybe 2 to 4, are open spots for teams trying to get in one event at a time, and those are decided by your FIBA ranking. Oh, and one more thing. You have to play in at least 3 tournaments just to be eligible for the final. So once you're in, how are the groups decided? Well, it's totally automated. The league plugs everything into the official FIBA event maker. It just takes the 4 players you registered for that weekend, adds up all the ranking points, and automatically seeds the teams into groups. It's objective, it's all based on data. But, and this is a big but, a lot of people in the 3x3 community are already pointing out a potential flaw. Because FIBA ranking points don't change all that much from month to month, there's a real fear that the groups could get super repetitive. You could end up playing the exact same top teams over and over and over again. Okay, we've got the rules down. But what about the money? Let's talk about the bottom line, what you can win, what it's going to cost you, and what perks come with it. Let's start with the good stuff, prize money. At each of the 6 stops, the winning team walks away with €1,000. Now, that might not sound like a life-changing fortune, but for semi-pro teams paying their own way, that can literally cover all your expenses for the weekend. The runner-up gets $500, and in a pretty cool recent change, they've extended prizes down to 5th and 6th place, which is a nice touch. All right, now for what it costs. If your team just wants to dip its toes in the water and try for one of those open spots, the entry fee is €300. It gives you flexibility, but it's a gamble, since you're fighting for just a couple of spots based on your ranking. But for the teams who are all in, you've got the preferential spot package. If you commit to all 6 tournaments right from the start, it'll cost you €1,500. Basically, it's a buy 5, get 1 free deal. It's a big chunk of change up front, but it guarantees you a spot on the court every single time. And finally, there's one last mandatory cost for every single player, a €50 insurance fee. And this little detail has actually kicked up some dust because that fee has doubled from last year's 25. The Federation says it's because this new fee covers you year-round for both the winter and summer leagues. So that's everything we know based on the official documents. But the most interesting part of this whole story might be in what we don't know. Let's get into the unanswered questions and the crazy deadlines that are making people nervous. Just look at this timeline. To call it a race against the clock is an understatement. The final calendar of cities doesn't even come out until September 10th, and team registration opens just 5 days after that, all for a league that's supposed to tip off in November. That is an insane crunch for everyone involved. And this creates a massive problem for the teams. I mean, think about it. How can you possibly convince 8 players to commit to a whole season when you don't even know if the tournaments will be in your city or across the country? Even worse, you don't even know if you'll get one of the few spots. It puts teams in a really, really tough spot. This whole mystery around the host cities has started another debate. The rules say any tournament that doesn't get a host city will just default to Madrid. And that's got people asking, well, is it really a national league? Like one person said, if every game is in Madrid, you can't really call it that, can you? And all of these questions, all of this uncertainty, it's all happening with a giant elephant in the room. This new FB League isn't just appearing out of nowhere. It's stepping onto a court where another national league is already playing. And this is the real showdown. On one side, you have the new FEB League. It's got the official status, the federation's resources, but zero track record. It's brand new. On the other side, you've got an established private league that's been running for over 3 years. It has a proven model and, more importantly, the community's trust. So while the new league has to earn that trust, the old one has to figure out how to compete with the federation's power. So really, the whole future of top-level 3x3 in Spain comes down to this. What happens between these two leagues? Will they figure out a way to work together? Maybe even collaborate for the good of the sport? Or are we about to see them go head-to-head in a battle for players, for sponsors, and for the spotlight? And that's the big question we're leaving you with. As this new league gets started, its success won't just be about who wins on the court. It's going to be about navigating this complicated new reality. Will the future of Spanish 3x3 be defined by collaboration or by competition? The answer is going to shape the sport for years to come. Thanks for tuning in to The Explainer.